Well, hi there. Happy day 86 of the 90-day BP challenge. BP challenge, health challenge, lifestyle challenge, business challenge, whatever type challenge you're doing over this 90-day push, this 90-day focused effort on the one thing that you want to achieve in a brief, short amount of time. For me, it's been reducing my blood pressure. So today in the last few days, we've been talking about processes and documenting processes and all the different aspects of processes and why it's important. Today, I want to talk about process ownership and process responsibility. Alluded to it a little bit yesterday that there's some processes we can go ahead and delegate. Now, I am doing the process for this example of checking my blood pressure. Now, I could not take personal responsibility and ownership for my blood pressure, and I could say, I'm just going to let my doctor tell me what my blood pressure is every 6 months or once a year when I go in to visit my cardiologist. I could do that. If my blood pressure is super duper low and I'm never worried about it and I've put all kinds of things in place to not have to check it, I could delegate that responsibility of checking my blood pressure to my doctor, to my physician, right? To my cardiologist. However, is that the best solution for me? Is that the best person to own the process of checking my blood pressure? It's up to you to decide. It depends on the process you're analyzing. But for me, I'm going to say no. I need to keep personal ownership and personal responsibility of checking my blood pressure on a regular basis. Right now, I'm checking it daily. As I verify that it's going to stay low for the next couple of months, I'll check it daily. And then I will probably back off and only check it maybe once a week or once a month, depending on how I'm feeling and what's going on in my life. As long as I am putting the other habits into place to keep my blood pressure low, I probably don't need to check it every day at some frequency. But whose responsibility, who owns the process of checking my blood pressure? Who is best to own that process? Now, if I were incapacitated or if I were bedridden or something and I couldn't physically do it myself, I might need a nurse or a doctor or a caregiver or a family member or friend to actually physically do that for me. But since I am obviously talking to you, I am more than capable of checking my own blood pressure. Therefore, it's my health, my body, my responsibility. I will take personal ownership of checking my own blood pressure and owning the process of checking my own blood pressure. Today, our challenge is the one thing we're doing today is just decide who owns this particular process and who's responsible for this process. There's a lot of processes that we can define and design and then hand off to someone else. There's a lot of processes I do. Driving to the grocery store, I will make a list and hand that off to someone else. I do not have to be the person any longer that goes to the grocery store and gets all the groceries or gets all the snacks and things we want to have around the house. I'm not that person. So I am perfectly happy to have the process of grocery getting, and I don't own it. I'm not responsible for it. I'm delegating it to someone else. So look at the process that you've been going through this part of the challenge on and ask yourself, who owns the process right now? And probably you. If you're writing the process, you probably currently own it and are responsible for it. But is it something that you could easily let go of and hand off to another person? There are a lot of processes we continue to hold on to and own long past the time we should own them. A lot of times we try to own the process of our loved ones, for example, our children's happiness or our significant other's happiness, and we try to do whatever we can to make them feel happier or more comfortable or whatever. But at some point we realize that that is not our process to own. Their happiness is 100% up to them, and they need to have ownership and personal responsibility of their own happiness. That's a really interesting example of letting go of someone else's process. Things that we can't control, we should let go of. We should do what we can to control. We can always control ourselves and our emotions and our response to things. But beyond that, if it involves other people, we only have so much impact that we can make on other people. We definitely can't make other people feel anything that they don't want to feel. So today, your challenge is to just look at the process you've been doing and analyzing and saying, is this my responsibility? If not, whose responsibility is it? Who's best suited to do this particular process and own this particular process, and then hand it off to them. Share the process that you've documented with them and get their agreement to own the process. The thing about delegating, delegating is different than assigning responsibility. If I'm a boss and I assign a task to someone that reports to me, that's assigning responsibility. It might be delegating, but it might not. Until the other person actually says, yes, I own this task, I understand that I am responsible for it, I own it, and commits to doing it, it's not really a delegated task. It's just an assigned task. An assigned task might not get done. If the other person doesn't commit to doing it, it might not get done. How do I know this? I spent decades in corporate America and running my own businesses, and I would assign tasks to people without getting their agreement that they were responsible for it. And then I would be somehow surprised that they didn't meet the deadline or the commitment or the timeline that was assigned to them, because they had other priorities in their little list of jobs or that they thought were more important. So make sure that when you're delegating something, you're actually delegating it and getting the agreement of the person that you give and hand off that process and that task to. That's it. Look at your process today. Is it yours? Do you own it? Are you responsible for it? Or can you hand it off to someone else? I obviously get excited when I can hand off and delegate tasks and ownership to things and processes. But this is one, of course, our personal health. We pretty much need to do a lot of that ourselves. You know, no one can eat for us. No one can exercise and move for us. We need to do that ourselves. Now, yeah, I hear you. Well, some people are paralyzed and they have to have physical therapists move for them. I get that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to me. And I'm not looking for the outlier worst case scenario. I'm looking for, what are you committed to do? What can I do? What can you do to move us toward the goal that we've set for ourselves in 90 days? And it's day 86. So we're coming up on day 90 really, really fast. So if I can help you in any way, please ask and hit me up in the comments below. I don't ever want to hear anybody say, I didn't know what to do during the challenge, or I was afraid to ask. Nobody should be afraid to ask me for anything. I might say no. I mean, if you ask me for $1 million, I'm going to say no. I can tell you that right now. But you can still ask, right? Have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, hit me up, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.